University. And so would you like me to share the screen? Like, would you permit me to share the screen?
Yes, ma'am. We are given a information.
Oh, okay, okay. Right. Is the screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am. The
I
screen
hope the
is there.
screen is visible. Yes, sir.
Yes, it is
So,
not coming full screen. Maybe you're using your mobile, I suppose.
yes, I'm using my mobile. That's because I have a small error in my this one
Okay, ma'am.
laptop. I hope
But it is
I think it
visible.
is to some extent. I think it is adjustable to you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So green innovation, like for past 2 days, the experts have already spoken about green innovations, green innovation strategies, and how its mode of operations with interdisciplinary science, technology, and humanities. Now, I'm going to talk about few business models which are in tune with the present working conditions of all business organizations and how far this green innovation has come the long way in our daily walks of life. So this is what my idea of sharing my views to all of you. So you all know green innovations, the development of new products, services, process, and systems that reduce environmental impact and improve sustainability. But green innovation strategy, when it comes to strategy, talks about how you are implementing your ideas of green innovation into your working models. So it is a technology or it is a technique of adapting your green innovation ideas and activities or operations through your management concepts. So that is what the green innovation strategy is all about. So when coming to the characteristics of green innovation, we'll be sharing about the sustainability. Without sustainability, the green innovation wouldn't have come into existence. So talking of the sustainability, so what is sustainability? So for any organization to sustain for a longer period of time in this environment, it has to focus on sustainability. So just sustainability is not for a 2 years period or 3 years period or 5 years period, but sustainability talking about for a longer period of time, say Tata, say Reliance or Birla. So they all have been through generations of generations from starting from 1980s and even to Gen Z generations. They are working on their own ideas and creations and innovations. So that is what sustainability is all about. But now, as time passes by, the resources are highly scarce. Though there are technological advancements, but still the resources are very scarce. What do we have to do is we have to adopt certain strategies in such a way that the resources are utilized without wasting the resources. So in such a way, there are few collaborations and interactions, technologies or techniques that are adopted nowadays. So my idea of sustainability towards green innovation, it is not only through technology, but it is also through individuals' interest in adopting to green innovations. So what is that individual interest is? Like taking up with any business organizations. Any business organization is nothing without humans. Talking about economic growth. So economic policies are framed for individuals and for the citizens. So in all the way of our working conditions, we are talking about resources, sustainabilities, but it should start from the individual perspective point of view. So that is what the characteristics is focused. So when you have a positive adaptive tech methodologies, then it is sure that any business organization will bring success. And even as an individual, you will be satisfied by adopting certain strategies. So that's what the characteristics of green innovation strategy is all about. Coming to the impact that creates. So what are the impacts that is create? See, green innovation is just not, you cannot adopt it by a single company or by a single firm by its own sake. It needs lots of networking adaptability. It needs lots of collaborations. Take an example of food industry. So nowadays, so many hotels and restaurants are adopting to green innovation methodologies. say like distributing foods in palm leaves or banana leaves. So all these brings you a method where the plastics are totally avoided. So in due respect of this, what happens is that in adopting to those innovative techniques, you need to collaborate with a palm grower or with a banana leaf grower or to the local farmers. So in such a way, any company cannot sustain by its own. It has to interdependent. It has to create a network of supply chains in following its green innovation methodologies. So the main impact is that when considering green innovation, you are focusing on collaboration, you are focusing on techniques, you'll be focusing on marketing, where marketing alone cannot be done by a single company. It requires lots of network practices. So that's how the green innovation can be strategically applied to any business models. Talking about sustainable development, so sustainable development is that it means you're considering the present situation, but even then you need to focus on the future, right? We cannot exploit the resources that are available now. We need to leave certain resources for our future generations. So whatever the resources we exploit now, it has to be utilized in a more meaningful way. The resources must not be wasted, or you can either focus on five R's like reuse, recycle. So in all the ways you are going to utilize your resources in such a way, none of the resources are wasted or underutilized. At the same time, those resources must be left over for our future generations too. So that is what the sustainable development focuses on. So there are various sustainable development goals that's being followed nowadays, like no poverty, no hungers, education to all. So there are so much of NGOs and business organizations who are focusing on ethics, who are focusing on corporate social responsibilities, who are focusing on green innovation strategies with all the means. They are all developing and they're all working towards a collaborative economy. So that is what the idea of green innovation talks about. So the five P's where this green innovation revolves around is around people, planet. It is about prosperity, peace, and partnership. So for any organization, the motive will be profit making. But what about the profit making? Just not a profit. You are also considering about what is the social responsibility of an organization towards green innovative practices. So how far you are going to go in meeting the needs of the customers with the differing needs of the customers. So you're also focusing on the people. You're also focusing on the planet. You're also focusing on the profit objective. So profit, it's the main motive of any organization, either it is governmental organizations, private organizations, or whatever the corporate industry is. So we cannot neglect profit, but at the same time, innovative practices would also come into in align with your strategies, in align with your goals, and only then the sustainable practices can be evolved. So that is what the five themes practices. And coming to green technology adoptions. So our topic is based particularly on technology, commerce, and humanities. Talking about green technology adoption, it is a growing issue where throughout the world that encourages organizations to develop green innovation strategies. So throughout the world, I'm not talking about India, but throughout the world, the companies nowadays are focusing on green innovations, conserving the resources, idea of reducing the waste and improve the environment so that they could achieve certain competitive advantage. So strategic management is nothing without competitive advantage and core competencies. So green in for few companies, core competency is itself its green innovation. Say like renewable energy resources companies like Tata or Adani. So their core competency is focused on green innovations. Whereas for some other companies, it might be like a competitive advantages. So incorporating these green innovation into business requires continuous support, both in the form of investments and in the form of policy frameworks. So that is what I have gained with few steps in strategic planning. I hope that it would align with your understanding of strategies also. Talking about for any business organization, you have to establish a clear goals. The goals like vision, mission, objectives. So the when once you're clear, your goals are set clearly, then you need to focus on nature-based solutions. So here comes your green innovation strategy. So you are aligning your goals along with the green innovation strategy. That is your nature-based solutions. Take an example of air filtrations. In Delhi, you all know that the air is not clean and good for your health. So what they do is that every say in a week, a day in a week, to avoid pollutions, you can go by bicycles, or even in most of the European countries where like Sweden or Netherlands, people take up bicycles as as a mode of their transport locally instead of going ahead with car or motorbikes like that. So you are finding out the solutions for a problem based on this green innovation strategies. And third one is that, so for building this, you cannot do it by your own. You could get support either from an external parties, I mean, they can be an experts in giving you directions in implementing your green innovation strategies, or it can be like green investors. It's because like starting up with green investors, like most of a middle based organizations cannot invest huge sum of money in starting up with green innovation techniques. So what they do is that either they could get in collaborations with a richer organization so that both of them can invest their amount or become a partners, and then they can focus on their green innovation technologies. So you can either find out a green investors or you can go ahead with the external parties support. So through this way, you can implement your innovation strategy. Then build your own innovative ecosystem. So this is where the implementation process comes over. So you find out your goals, you find out what is the solution that you wanted to provide, and you have got the support, but now find out what is an ecosystem that you wanted to develop. And in developing so, if you require any supports or grants, so you can seek supports from the supports or funds or grants either from the government, or there are a few private agencies who could also give you a helping hand in that. And compliance with environment regulations. So next most support is that in implementing your green innovation practices, you have to go in compliance with environmental regulations. Take an example in European countries, say UK. If you wanted to build a residence or a house, you need to go ahead in focusing with the building fund innovation practices. So there is a law that underestimate that there is a law that estimate the what are the regulations to be followed in building a houses or a residence. So you have to abide with those rules and regulations so that your green practices are being followed. And then identifying and navigate the market pressures. So it is really difficult to get along with the market pressures, especially for green innovative products. Before, when the people are not aware of those green practices, there was a negligence in the market. But nowadays, most of the people are knowing about what are the health hazards that would happen without adopting green techniques, or take up a food industry where if the foods are packed in plastic covers or plastic boxes, it is really hazardous to your health. So now the customers have started asking for a more innovative practices, like the foods being packed in a banana leaf, or the foods are given in a box like that is made of sugar cane buggies. So all these offerings are being made nowadays. So people are still more aware, like what is helpful to them, what is harmful to them. So by all these means, the strategic plans can be implemented. I repeat. So starting with your clear establishment of your clear goals, find out what is that you are going to provide to your customers or to your consumers. Then build up your own ecosystems and see that you are financially viable so that your ecosystems can have a great development in terms of technologies and other adaptations. And coming to your environmental regulations, follow strictly the environmental regulations that is in practice that differs from each country. Like from for India, it is different. For European countries, it's different. So abide with the rules and regulations, then navigate your market pressure. So this is what my severe secret steps to your adaptation of implementation practices. Then creating technology for sustainable society. So without technology, the practices of innovation is really difficult. So the helpful hand of technology is more important. Talking about with the emissions of carbon, CO2, carbon dioxide, or carbons from the environment is really difficult. But now you have EV vehicles that are rolling on the streets. So that is how the technology has to come out. Just not the profits alone. The companies need not focus on the profit alone, but must focus on what is helpful to the society. So that is where your entire focus must align to. And so coming to the models, if you see with the models, there are there are 3 steps models I have adopted. One is considered to be a multi-level model, meso level, and at the macro level. So in adopting to these models, any business companies can target with the multifaceted model for its own innovative practices. So in doing so, there are a few critical success factors. Coming again, strategic management is nothing without critical success factors. So identifying your critical success factors is much more important in embedding technological diversity or developing knowledge sharing mechanisms or embracing open innovation strategies. So all these things would happen only if you follow with a real idea of understanding. That is your what innovation practices that you are going to adopt must be understood by everyone in the organization. So green innovation learning is the most important aspect behind all these business models. So this green innovation learning is much more important for the employers or for the employees or for all the stakeholders to understand what the business model is working with. So in doing so, there are 3 things that I have been identified. One is supposed to be the macro level, another one is at meso level, and another one, the below level, is the micro level. So adopting to the multi-level and multi-value approach enables the organizations to directly or indirectly collaborate or have a network identifications so that they could have a support for understanding green innovation practices. Then coming to at the micro level, so what happens at micro level? So we all know that at micro level, we talk about industry, sorry, an institution or a business organization. So at micro level, if you're talking about one firm which is investing on its practice, on its innovative practices. But is it really easy for a firm to innovate? There are lots of challenges and difficulties for any organization to adopt to green innovation practices. Especially, there is a fear of having higher operational costs or the changes, or they call it as a value friction. Or in bringing out with these innovation practices, the employees sometimes will not collaborate, will not understand the reason behind why these innovative practices are being adopted. So all these things must be understood only if the at the micro level, only if the employees or the stakeholders are able to understand what kind of innovative practices is being introduced and what is the purpose of introducing these innovative practices, and what about the cost efficiency techniques that you are going to adopt. So by understanding only at that level, um, uh, uh, and then innovative practices can be implemented so successfully. So what about resistance to change here? At any level, either you take up with multi-level or macro level, overcoming the resistance to change is much more important. So there are certain behavioral differences that are identified with the employees or with the employers as because of the fear of profit or because of the fear of unsustainability. So to overcome these challenges, the company has to regularly practice certain strategies. Take an example like talking about EV vehicles. So nowadays, EV vehicles, if you're buying an EV vehicle, the government has announced that the few discounts are being given for the purchase of an EV vehicle. Or say if you're using solar panels at your residence, so government is providing subsidy if you're using those solar panels. And talking about Green India initiatives, so Green India initiatives has also taken up major steps by implementing solar panels through which the electrification is made easy in the rural for the rural developments. So all these things are being made only with the help of the innovative practices to take place in the business organization. So all these, these multi-level companies need to acquire new capabilities. So where will they acquire the new capabilities? So the acquiring of the new capabilities will be made only with the help of identifying the change that the organization is going to bring. So what kind of change that the organization is going to bring, or what kind of implementations that they are going to make. So all these things can be made only with the help of understanding the necessity of changes. So this is where the multi-level business stands. And next one is the meso level. So adopting the techniques at the meso level, when you see with the meso level, like the focus is on industries or network level. I hope the screen is visible to you, but as it is smaller, I think you are not able to see the critical success factor. But I hope that you could get the information through what I'm saying, right? So at meso level, if you see, the company focuses on industry or network level. So it is particularly associated with inter-firm collaborations that supports a transition to a circular economy. I hope you all know about the circular economy. So circular economy is an economy which encourages to come out with innovative green practices and more on focusing on sustainability, so that the future generations will also have an economic progressions. So at meso level, we are talking about, it talks about an inter-firm collaborations or networking, so that the circular economy in which the markets or operates can either reuse the products or reutilize them, so that the wastages are being reduced. Talking about like the plastics that we use every day, the plastics are being collected by among us, and these plastics, what can be done is that uh, can be converted into a reusable one. Say like for laying railway tracks, these plastics are being hardened and compressed and can be used for a railway tracks. So that's how the meso level would come into effect. Take an example like we have in Tamil Nadu, we have a college where they have an innovation incubation center through which they are producing a T-shirt that is of mosquito repellent, acts as a mosquito repellent, and they are supplying these T-shirt to the Indian Army. It is an organic T-shirt as well as it is a mosquito repellent T-shirts. So that's how the innovative practices are being strategized. Excuse me. So in this idea is being developed by the students in a college. So it doesn't require a big company or a business organization who developed this effort, but it is the students from an incubation center. They have developed this idea, and they, in collaboration with an industry, developed an organic t-shirts, and then they are supplying it to an Indian Army. So this is what the meso level operates. So you cannot act individually for your sustainability alone. So talking about sustainability, any company or any business organization in the in a society needs to be sustained for a longer period of time, and the environment also needs to be sustained. So with harmless products or with harmless process, you can have your innovative practices. This can be done only through collaboration. So that is what the meso level talks about. And lastly, the third model is we have is at macro level. So talking about with macro level, it talks about the entire industry or at the institutional context or at societal level. So talking about the society benefits. So what a business organization is doing for its societies to get benefited. So here the firms are unwilling to develop green innovation strategies. Though that benefits the society, some firms are not coming out to these practices. It's only because of the fear that the profits will be limited. So that is what the macro level is being, it's still under confusions. We cannot say all the organizations in a society is following green innovative practices. There are still few more companies which are not adopting to that kind of innovative practices at all. So it is only because of the fear. But to overcome this fear, either the government or the collaborators needs to encourage them or teach them how to bring about these innovative practices. Only in doing so, all the business organizations can 100% focus on the green innovative strategies. So take an example like, as I told you, like Green India initiatives. So Green India initiative is done by our government. So this government encourages business organizations and even supports them with financial aids to bring about certain like say some lesser costly innovative practices to their businesses. So this is what your three model, I mean, this is what the business model approach that I have learned through identifying the innovative practices. And there are a few more examples, like you are seeing on the screen, like there are so many companies that are adopting their innovative practices nowadays. Take an example of Starbucks. Starbucks is giving you their drinks in a paper cups, which are recyclable. Take up with Singapore Airport. So Singapore Airport is totally focusing on its green building technologies. So almost most of Singapore is focusing on their green innovation practices, like through green building facilities. So their building materials are being utilized only through green innovation technologies. And then talking about with Tata Group. So we all know that Tata Group is a pioneer for various industries. So they have made a significant stride in green technology investments like Tata Power, Tata Renewable Resources, EV infrastructures. So in all these things, they have identified certain facilities of providing zero emission to the societies. And that is what the Tata Group's green initiatives are helping to reduce India's carbon footprints, and also it aligns with global efforts to move towards a low carbon future. Talking about with Mahindra Groups. So even if you see Mahindra Groups are focusing on deforestation. So I mean, focusing on reforestation. So what is reforestation is like, it is clearly we know about that we have learned a lesson in so many ways of deforestation, like Wayanad, even at Uttarakhand, that happened a landslide and heavy water clogging that is happening nowadays. So that is how uh, uh, the Mahindra Group is focusing on reforestation. So what they do is that they have implemented uh, a project called as Haryali Project in collaboration with Mahindra Foundation and Nandi Foundation. So they launched this project in 2007, and so far this project has come a long way in providing green cover and correct the ecological imbalances by supporting marginalized farmers. And talking about in 2010 again, this Mahindra Group has expanded uh, toward their project to Arak Valley. Arak Valley, it is a mountain hilltop near Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, where they created a working forest model for tribal community. So since then, the project has expanded its reach even in North India, say particularly in Himachal Pradesh or Punjab or Uttar Pradesh, where it focuses on organic regenerative agriculture without the use of chemicals. And talking about many more companies like Coca-Cola, if you see Coca-Cola by 2030, they have given a statement that they wanted to bring about with 100% recyclable bottles. So if they are able to do it, then most of the companies, I mean, most of the plastic bottles we throw out after use, I think that is going to reduce, and the harmfulness that it creates to society will be reduced. Talking about with Walmart, Disney's, and even ITC Limited, they're all focusing on green innovations. See, when talking about so much of big corporate companies, it is like anything that they're using, it is just not like they're spending their money for money out of paying tax, but it is not on as a motive, but there are many corporate giants who literally wanted to focus on green innovation practices. They wanted to bring sustainability to their practices only through these kinds of uh, amount they spend upon the society's development. Talking about with ITC Limited. So ITC Limited, we all know that it is a conglomerate giant with ranging from FMCG to hotels we have. So it has also embarked its journey towards sustainability. They have invested heavily in renewable energies and water conservation and sustainable agricultural practices. So by integrating its sustainability, ITC is increasing its green efforts and aligning with global initiatives too. Talking about with the ITC's agriculture unit, so even they have invested a huge sum of money towards bringing out with innovative business models in agriculture. So today they're focusing on few agenda aims to bring out mm, with I mean with the agricultural practices, so that even it could promote climate smart and ensure water security and soil conservation. Soil conservations or biodiversity practices, packaging with sustainable packaging solutions. So all these things are being focused by ITC nowadays. So we believe this will go a long way to combating the climate crisis and sustaining certain significant livelihoods. Talking about, there are few other companies like Nike, even Elon Musk has been investing into green innovation practices. There are various giants who are focusing on, but it is not about the money that they spend on it, but what do they finally bring to the society. So this is where your humanity practices comes over. Though the companies invest a huge sum of money on green innovation practices and technologies, but as an individual, how we embrace them. Take an example like Tamil Nadu government has 2 years back have given an initiatives on Meendum Manjapai. Meendum Manjapai is that it is again the yellow bag. So wherever we go, we need to carry a bag with us. So by doing so, we could avoid taking up a plastic cover, getting your food items or getting your vegetables or getting your groceries in the plastic cover can be avoided. So wherever you go, carry a bag with you. And talking about a leather, so two brothers have identified uh, a leather, a leather fabric out of cactus. We all know cactus is a plant that's grown in the desert abundantly, but we don't even know what are its uses. But two of a person who have identified that leather fabrics uh, can be done with the use of cactus. This is going to go in a longer way in adopting into the fashion industries, like using your palm leaves or palm based products or buggies. So all these will go a long way in having a strategical impact on on the practices of the business companies. Talking about, there is humanity on the basis of humanity. A township there is in Pondicherry, near Pondicherry, that is in Viduppuram district, where you have an Auroville. So Auroville is particularly a township which focuses on the sustainability practices of green innovation alone. It is a model village that's being created by Aravindo Society, wherein the modern village, they have almost like 54 to 55,000 of populations from various countries. People around from various countries come over there, will adopt to the mindset and will adopt to the way of living of uh, and adapt themselves to the culture of the Auroville. So that is being happening not somewhere in European countries. It is here in our India. It is here nearby Tamil Nadu, where there is a township that is self-sustainable, where they use only green innovation practices, from food, from living houses to huts, following with solar panels for electricity. So everything is only through self-sustainable modes. So these kinds of practices will give us a few understanding of why it is necessary to go into green innovation practices. Talking about, there is a person in Bangalore. Uh, I'm a vivid follower of her Instagram because she's considered to be a worm Rani. So what she does is that simple. She do not waste all her food foods or her vegetable scraps. She make it. She does it into uh, a soil which is enriched with worms and which is used for cultivations. So she collect all those things. She does it for herself and she give it to the farmers. I think this is being widely nowadays being adopted. Even those people in the apartments in various cities nowadays. So by doing this, the farmers will get a good soil so that they could have a helping hand in and around the cities. So this is not only for, so I just wanted to mean that the green innovation practice is just not only for the business organizations to focus, but this can be focused by everyone in the by everyone as an individual, and they can adopt to all these kinds of uh, to all these kinds of small little practices. So we cannot have a huge technology, we cannot have a huge sum of money, we cannot have every learnings about innovations, but it is in the small little things. While we avoid certain things that are hazardous to human society, that are hazardous to environment, hazardous to ocean life. So by restricting all those practices itself, you get a nice practice of having innovative ideas towards green innovation. So this is how we are going to adopt to all our methodologies. And uh, like talking about, so as an individual, what is our responsibility? Can any of you tell me, like, I know that this is a afternoon session and all of us had our good lunch and we are just listening to this. But could any of you talk to me regarding green innovative practices that you adopt in your personal life? Yes. Can I get few ideas of, like, we adopt certain practices in our daily walk of life, but how far are we conscious about our society? How far we are conscious about our family? Can any of you share certain ideas? Yes. Okay, fine. So I think all of you. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I like to say, though it is a very small thing to say, but I'm doing something which is environment friendly.
Yes.
Like the day I came to know that polythene is not good for the environment, I try my level best not to use it in any of the forums. If anyone
Very good.
offering, I'm not using it. Even I discourage people not to go for it. So in that,
Super, super, ma'am.
generally
So,
we used to use the bag, the cloth bags, which we
hmm.
were using in our olden days, like when I was in school, but that was not there right now. A few years back, but now again I started using them. So this is how a smaller amount of contribution what I feel like I'm doing towards the environment.
Very good, very good. Thank you, ma'am. I think most of us sometimes we forget to take the bags along with us, or sometimes we are ashamed of taking those kinds of bags. But for the welfare of the society, for the welfare of our environment, I think as a good practice we could carry. There are so much of bags, stylish bags that are coming out of craft. So I think all of us must try to follow. Any other views? So even if you see previously when we were like children, when our parents go to a restaurant, they carry a box, a tiffin carrier along with them to get, say, the rice or dal and everything. But later on, it's slowly vanquished. So what we do, we go to a restaurant, we get the parcel either in plastic covers or it is being packed in plastic boxes. But nowadays, many of us, although that we are aware of that plastic is dangerous, but we still continue doing this. Particularly when we order food through Swiggy or Zomato, we focus on this kind of, we are least bothered about the plastics that goes into along with our foods. So I think even that can be avoided if you go personally and directly go get the food in your tiffin carriers or boxes. So there are various, so small little practices every day that we follow can be aligned. So this is where the business goals will also be focused upon. So what we require, what is our requirement is what being produced by the industries. So this, if this is our requirement, if our requirement is focused only on green practices, then the business goals or business organizations will also focus only on the green innovation practices. So as the customer's requirement is on it, the companies will also start all the all the companies, either the business houses or the service organizations, whatever it is, they'll also focus on the green innovative practices. Also, reducing the wastages is much more essential part to be considered nowadays. Talking about the homegrown, I mean the residential waste like vegetable waste or paper waste, or even considering about the e-waste or the hospital waste. So everything is not negligible. I mean, everything should not be neglected. So all these waste must be reduced or minimized or can be reused or recycled to an extent. So this can also be done from the level of individual to big business houses who can, to protect the society, to protect the environment, they can really go through it. So finally, I end up with the words from APJ Abdul Kalam sir, like a clean green environment is the pillar stone to happy, healthy society. So my idea of green practice is not only to be focused on the business houses or our great giants. So as an individual from our from Gen Z generations onwards, I think we need to impart this green innovation practices into our mind, turn our mindset towards that, then practice that regularly so that our environment will be sustainable and we can give a green planet to our future generations. So that's what my idea of. Uh, Sorry, I had few videos, but because of my error in the laptop, I was not able to play for it. But I'll share the PPT to Amit sir so that you could view those videos through the PPT slides. Yes. So I hope the session was useful to you, and hope let's practice this green innovations in every walk of our life. So thank you all the participants for giving me this wonderful opportunities.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sangeetha,
Amin
ma'am.
sir. Any questions?
Yes, so thank you very much, Professor Sangeetha, for very enlightening and engaging, thought-provoking session on green innovations. Your insights into the integrating commerce, technology, humanities have certainly provided us with a deeper understanding of how we can approach sustainability from a strategic management perspective. As we reflect on what we have just learned, it's clear that the future of sustainable business practices lies in our ability to develop strategies that are not only innovative but also ethically grounded and culturally aware. The business
Thank
models
you.
that we create today will shape the world of tomorrow. And it is through sessions like this that we gain the knowledge and tools needed to drive positive change. And before we proceed to our next session, I encourage everyone to take a moment to think about how the concepts discussed in the session can be applied within our own professional context, whether we are in academia, industry, or any other sector. The ideas shared today can serve as a catalyst for meaningful action toward a more sustainable future. Thank you very much once again, Sangeeta ma'am, for bringing
Thank you,
this
sir.
perspective into the
Yes,
session.
sir. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me for these times. I hope I have done some justice to you while sharing of my strategies, what I have gone through with my studies. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll now transition to our second session of the day. Our second session, Global Business Strategies for Sustainable Entrepreneurship, Integrating Interdisciplinary Approaches, will be led by Dr. Reena. Dr. Reena is Associate Professor and Head of the Department at Shri Krishna Arts and Science College, Tamil Nadu. Dr. Reena is an expert in the global business strategies and sustainable entrepreneurship. With a deep understanding of interdisciplinary approaches, she has been at the forefront of integrating eco-friendly business models and social impact initiatives into the global business landscape. In today's session, Dr. Reena will explore the significance of sustainable entrepreneurship in a global context, examine current trends, and consider future outlooks for sustainable practices. She'll also analyze how the global business environment impacts entrepreneurship, including regulatory frameworks, market dynamics, and cultural factors. So I now request Dr. Reena to please start the session.
Thank you, Dr. Amir, for the introduction. Uh, Good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm privileged to be part of this session, and my topic, what was given to me, was about globalization, sustainable development, sustainable business models, and in the scenario of global business environment. So it is a briefer session, and probably what from Dr. Sangeetha Lennon, she was elaborating on the models which can be created. Let me go in the insight of what is sustainable business, and then how it can be incorporated in the globalized economic era of international business or the global business in thing. And can I share my PPT here?
Yes, no, you can.
Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for the opportunity. And to start with my
You
session
can make
called,
it full screen, ma'am. That will be more better.
pardon, sir?
You can make the screen full screen in those slide layout.
Yeah,
Yes.
fine, it's okay now.
Yes, it is okay.
Yes, the screen is visible now.
Let's see the screen. The
Yes,
screen
ma'am,
is
it's
totally visible.
visible.
Yes. So to start with, I'll be talking about sustainable business. What in general is sustainable business in the current globalized era? It starts with the practice of creating and managing business for achieving economic success and advancing environmental and social sustainability. Probably what exactly the current era of the Gen Z, or what exactly is the need of the hour in creating and managing business units where profit is not the primary part which the business entrepreneurs have to think on, because sustainability is what is the need of the hour. Sustainable business wherein we are able to source the resources in due course. Once we are not bothered about the environment, obviously our sourcing of resources, certain natural resources will be depleting. And when sustainability and environment is not bothered, I mean, is not taken care properly, even the nutrition level of human beings, or the so-called labor resource, will also be not that good. So sustainable business model is creating and managing business for achieving economic success, and it is not only economic success, it has to be concentrating on environmental and social sustainability. And integrating sustainable practice in every aspect of business, neither it is production or consumption or marketing. It is from product design to the entire process of supply chain management, from sourcing of raw material till the product reaches the ultimate consumer's doorstep. every activity here which is concentrated in earning economic economic success should concentrate on sustainable business. And along with that, corporate governance. But when we talk about corporate governance, it includes labor and ethical form of doing business. In a global context, or when we talk about globalization, globalization is nothing but considering the entire world as a single market. So among the 194 countries of the world, some countries are rich in certain resources and some other countries are rich in other resources. So there is always a surplus and deficit gap which has to be managed, and globalization now is encompassing all these things. And when the production and consumption pattern of business units are increasing, there is probability the challenge of climate and resource scarcity. And obviously, here when there is surplus and deficit situations pertaining the market, there is social inequality while navigating diverse regulatory environmental conditions. So the legal and the political environment of which business units are supposed to be carried out, that also plays a very significant role when we talk about sustainable business. So the sustainable business in the global context, the significant areas to be noted are the global challenges which are addressed in the current era. And when we talk about the global challenges, it is the environmental impact, where sustainable entrepreneurship helps mitigate environmental issues such as pollution, resource depletion, and climate change by promoting eco-friendly practices and innovations. Probably what Dr. Sangeetha was saying. Rather than talking about the manufacturers alone, it is a consumer. We need to have an impact on environmental sustainability. And next one is social equity. The other important global challenge is social equity. It contributes to social equity by advocating fair labor practices. Probably we all know that India is a country meant for cheap labor. Provided the Indian labor force is highly equipped, is efficient, and which is resulting in good productivity, but we are always termed as cheap labor because of the other political issue, other economical or the social issues of unemployment and a huge population. So wherein it is affecting the community development and inclusion of the society, thus addressing the issues of inequalities and human rights. This becomes a primary challenge when we talk about sustainable business in global context. Next is the economic benefits. Long-term viability of any business uh, that adopt sustainable practices are more often resilient and adaptable, and which can lead to a long-term economic success. See, when a company is able to plan its supply chain for a longer period or plan its operations for a longer period pertaining to sustainable growth of the company, then economic benefits like large-scale production or economies of scale would be a beneficial area. Next is the competitive advantage, which companies prioritize sustainability and that can differentiate themselves in the market, which will attract eco-conscious consumers and build stronger brand loyalty. So when we talk about consumers, it is from the perspective of a consumer. When a consumer starts thinking about sustainable business or sustainable environment, ultimately a competitive advantage, the manufacturers would think of bringing in competitive advantage with eco-friendly products. And the next significance is about the regulatory and the market adaptation. So the compliance regulations increasingly favor sustainability. Adopting these practices helps business stay ahead of regulatory requirements and avoid legal issues. And investor appeal. The investors are increasingly looking for companies with strong sustainability. Of course, they require their own credentials, and which is a critical factor for attracting investments. Be it is direct country investment or the foreign investment, which countries are expecting the other countries to pay in. And the next significant area of sustainable business is innovation and efficiency, which talks about product innovation. Sustainable entrepreneurship drives the development of new eco-friendly products and technologies that meets the needs of modern consumers. Of course, the modern consumers are more bothered about their personal personal, maintaining their personal areas of personal requirements too. So in that case, efficiency and innovation will also be a part of it. Bothering about customers in general, and wherein customers have competitive edge over the market, wherein a customer in India can buy a product from Europe or from Australia, whichever part, when he is bothered about his personal requirements, the other people who are competitors will also be thinking about sustainable, eco-friendly products. And all these things would end up in operational efficiency, leading a more efficient use of resources, wherein resource proper utilization of resources are happening with minimum wastages, because sustainable business is longevity of business units in the market. This is about the significance when we talk about a sustainable business. But when we look into the current trends in the market, there is a circular economy that is happening, revolving on emphasizing recycling and reuse of products. And the companies which adopt circular economic policy probably focusing on recycling, repurposing, and minimizing waste. So that is the need of the hour, because minimizing waste is something which has to be which was because waste again, it goes into the dump yard, which is again an environmental hazard which is coming into the picture. And the product as a service model. So some companies are shifting from selling products to offering services that include product maintenance and take back schemes. The company itself, see for example Nokia or any company for that matter, they take their product and they reuse it. So the process of circular economy is more prominent than current era. And as the other speakers, green technology and innovation, concentrating on renewable energy, where increased investments are funding in, such as and for renewable sources of energy, such as solar, wind, and bioenergy. And sustainable technology, sustainable tech, which is innovations in technology that reduce environmental impact, such as energy efficient appliances, electric vehicles, and smart grids. So electric vehicles are, most of the companies started manufacturing electric vehicles, where few fossil fuels or carbon deficits are not much. And when we talk about supply chain, that is from suppliers and till the product reaches the ultimate consumer, the entire process of transformation that happens, or when each participants in the supply chain, which is meant for creating value, there should be transparency in all the operations. And sustainable sourcing. So the better the quality of raw material, the best would be the finished product. So if the manufacturer wants to sell the finished product and better technology, he will source the best technology, best quality product with better technology, such that he is able to manage maximum utilization of resources with minimum wastage. And on the other front, when we talk about consumers' demand, obviously consumers are products, and almost everyone is becoming a corporate social, there is a corporate responsibility here. There is a rising pressure on companies to demonstrate corporate social responsibility and sustainable practices. So what they fetch, what they earn from the economy, it has to be returned back perfectly. And that is part of the regulations. And regulatory pressures, stricter government norms implementing. Probably India hasn't started about talking about carbon credits or so, but the other countries in the world are going in for stricter agreements on global production and carbon credits, carbon emissions. Coming back to the real topic, global business strategies for sustainable entrepreneurship, where integrating interdisciplinary approaches for long-term success. This is the topic which I'm supposed to read on. When we think of this area, it is exploring sustainable entrepreneurship through interdisciplinary strategies. So strategy starts, probably this is not a cycle, it has to be all the areas put together. Introduction to sustainable entrepreneurship. What exactly is sustainable entrepreneurship? It is understanding the core concepts and importance of sustainable entrepreneurship in the global business landscape. So what is exactly expected in the global arena? How should be the planning? How should be the execution? How are the market conditions? And looking into the social and the economic structure of different countries, product has to be produced. Consumers have to be settled with the product, or whenever the consumer requires, the product has to reach the consumer at the right time. So the all the process of supply chain and logistics should be done in such a way that the entrepreneur is forced to do everything perfectly. And as I told you, it is a circular economy principles, where the principles of circular economy and its role promoting sustainable business practice. It is not only in one area, at every part, right from sourcing of raw material till the product reaches the final consumer, and till the product is absolutely accepted in the market. Consumers also seek only eco-friendly product. So the economy is protected. Economy has to be protected, right from manufacturers till the consumers. And every channel of distribution, every participant in the supply chain management, be it as SCM or CRM, say customer relationship management, in every area, sustainability and the economic principles are supposed to be followed. Technology for sustainability. So utilizing technological advancement to drive sustainability initiatives and enhance business operations. Every business operation that is there in the organization should be technology bounded. And the next one is ESG criteria, which is environmental, social, and governance. When we talk about the corporate responsibility, it is accountability of the corporate to manufacture product that is acceptable by the stakeholders. And building a sustainable supply chain. I've been talking about supply chain models. Ma'am was talking about, Dr. Sangeetha was talking about the supply chain models. A strategy to maintain, create and maintain a sustainable supply chain that aligns with environmental and social goals. What exactly is the social requirements? And based on the economic and the financial situation of a country, it has to concentrate on building a proper supply chain where, again, maximum utilization of resources with minimum wastage. Stakeholders engagement. So each emphasizing the importance of engaging stakeholders, suppliers, the government, the society at large, the employees, the customers. Every year, in everyone responsible is supposed to take care of sustainable business. Focus on innovation and research and development, highlighting the role of innovation and research and development in driving. So whatever product has to be innovated, the manufacturer has to think of sustainability, either sustaining or that product, or either to make sustainable business profits or enhance. See that the product life cycle is not shrinking. When the product life cycle is shrinking, it is definitely it is hitting the supply chain networks. So again, their company has to build on a proper supply chain network. So that is not required. So when the company is going in for innovations, further research and development operations have to be enhanced properly. Developing strong corporate culture. So cultivating a corporate culture that values sustainability, ethics, social responsibility as its core. So as I told you, it is ESG. I think I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am,
Am
you're
I audible?
audible. Yes, yes, ma'am, you're audible.
So when we talk about sustainable entrepreneurship, it is merging business success with sustainability goals. So normally, no businessman or a manufacturer or entrepreneur would do business as service. His primary motive is profit. So when he thinks of profit, he has to manage his entire business success, concentrating on sustainable goals. And that would be the legal requirements or the socio-cultural requirement of countries too. So adapting to regulations, environmental mitigations, adapting to regulations. which is like when we talk about globalized economy or globalized business leader, when we talk about entrepreneurship at the global level, it is understanding regulatory framework and market condition of each and every market which the entrepreneur is going to enter. Understanding each and every customer in different country, different continent, and preparing his business. So his policies, his procedures, the mission and vision of the company will be aligned based on sustainable goals. It has to be aligned. And there are challenges when a company runs globally. There are so many challenges when the company runs globally because the socio-economic and cultural, the entire political system, social system, cultural aspects, economic and financial system, even the technological advancement would be different from country to country, would be different from company to company based on their financial structure. So tackling these challenges, company has to plan and execute policies considering regulations, considering the environmental mitigation. What is the climatic change? How is the business climate in that country? Which would foster social equity and ensure economic viability. Will my company be able to run the show for the next 30 years? I've set the vision that I should be my market share should be 30% in the next 20 years. And to reap a profit market share of 30% for the next 30 years, how how efficiently my supply chain management should be, how efficiently I should have a customer base such that my extended business which I'm running now is the acquired customers who are with my business are with my business, so that my business is, my return on investment is safe, my business, my investments are good, are safe, my capital structure is good, my shareholders and stakeholders are satisfied. So that is economic viability when the when manufacturers or entrepreneurs think of going global. And understanding or doing business in domestic market itself is highly risky because of unconditional or unforeseen happenings. But when it is international business where you don't know who's a market, who's a customer, you know what is a market structure, who your competitors are. When you take your product to another soil, there are 193 countries bringing their product to India, or bringing the product to the country where you are taking. So you will have to compete with developed nation, with developing, and of course, underdeveloped nation will not be a problem. But still, the price which you are fixing, will the people of the underdeveloped market buy? Will they accept? So this is merging the business success or aligning entire activity of business, the entire process of business in line with sustainability is understanding global challenges. And when we talk about the circular practices or circular principles, where enhance sustainability through circular economy practices, there are three essential things which we need to concentrate on. One is design for longevity. I told you the longer is your supply chain network, the relationship which you have with your supply chain participants, or you are able to retain the acquired customers for a longer period, you are having a wonderful business. Because the products which when your product's life cycle is shrinking, each month you have to fix up, you will have to sign an agreement with the supplier. Your contract, your supply chain will be upside down at times. Probably with one supplier you had been doing a wonderful business. When the supplier is changing, and if the supplier is giving a goofy product, which is not, which is definitely acceptable, which is which is not accepted by the technology, and the finished product which you are deriving, which you are getting, is not up to the mark, then you will not be able to go in for longer business, or you will not be able to enter into global market. And life cycle, think how your what should be the period of your life cycle, product's life cycle. It starts in the market, it is very difficult to penetrate into a newer market where the environmental conditions are different. Then once you penetrate into the market, and if the product reaches the maturity stage or stagnation or decline stage, you will have to rework on the entire process, and which would probably you may not be able to replace the supply chain network or the supply chain conditions. Next part is material efficiency, utilizing recycled or sustainably sourced materials in production to lower environmental impact, decrease resource depletion, and promote promote a more sustainable supply chain. So your supply chain network, then it is sustainable business. When you think of emphasizing sustainable products, your life's probably products which are already used, because I started talking about recycling and reusing. And when it is recycling, maybe the quality of the product may not be up to the mark. So material efficiency would be a question mark. And waste reduction, that is establishing take back and recycling initiatives to minimize waste generation, promote resource reuse, and support a closed loop system. Resource waste reduction, that the entire principle of supply chain management, or the basic principle of any organized business. When we talk about sustainability, sustainable practices, it has to be maximum utilization of resources with minimum wastage. That companies have to concentrate on. And beyond that, when we want to enhance corporate sustainability with this ESG initiative or ESG integration, it is environmental impact. The measure and reduce carbon footprints, water usage, waste production to mitigate environmental harm, and promote sustainability. It is not the entrepreneur who himself has to think on. It is a consumer, as Dr. Sangeetha told, it is the consumer who has to be bothered about what he is getting, how he is spoiling the society. Because it is his generation is kids, grandkids will be affected when there is total environmental depletion or resource depletion that is happening. And social responsibility, ensuring fair labor practices. I was just talking about the cheap labor which is available in India. Because of other reasons like population explosion or unemployment, India has issues like underemployment and unemployment. So labor practices, the social responsibility. It also talks about retaining the employees for a longer period. Sustainability talks about that also to a certain extent, not only about green marketing or green business or green products or eco-friendly products. It also talks about the longevity of a customer longevity of an employee in an organization, where an employee who is experienced, who is specialized in a particular task, will help the company to maximum utilize it, enhancing with enhanced productivity and efficiency. So fair labor practices in an organization will will ensure maximum utilization of every resources. And community engagement and diversity and inclusion to foster positive social impact to all the stakeholders. And the next one is governance, maintain transparency, ethical business practices, and strong corporate governance to build trust, credibility, and long-term values. So long-term value, which is very significant in an organization, which has to be here, the trust and credibility with all the stakeholders. It is not only here in with the primary stakeholder consumer, it includes all the stakeholders, even the government. When the companies are, when the business units are supposed to pay tax. So sustainability of business, sustainability of the globe, sustainability of earth, as well as sustainability of the financial situations of countries. Leveraging technology. This is another area which companies have to think on. Leveraging technology for sustainability, harnessing digital innovation for eco-friendly practices. So we know what green manufacturing process is. Adopting eco-friendly manufacturing to minimize environmental footprints. Managing pollution by all means. Next, AI in energy management. That is example IBM optimizes energy in data centers, lowering costs and impacts. It's an example. IBM follows it. And use of digital tools, utilize data analytics and AI to enhance resource efficiency and reduce waste. Maybe a reduction in paper usage in schools and colleges may also be used when we have digital footprints, when the era is towards digitalization, digital marketing is there. Papers, newspapers, papers, notes, assignments, collecting assignments can be reduced to a certain extent. And the other one is innovation investment. When we need to talk about investments at large, and for a sustainable technology like renewable energy and efficient systems, innovation investments are happening. FDI or the venture capitalists or the angel investors are probably they invest in eco-friendly business units, eco-friendly production centers for eco-friendly products. When talking about supply chain management, how a company can build a sustainable supply chain management, there are key strategies for sustainable supply chain management. One is sustainable sourcing, very primary area. As I told you, quality raw material, quality component will only ensure quality raw material, finished product, and only quality the finished product will be accepted in the global market. So sustainable sourcing, which includes suppliers meeting environmental and social standards, ensuring regulatory practices. Probably the sourcing of raw material, sourcing of components, sourcing of all the resources that is required, where we talk about maximum utilization, minimum wastage, and of course, environmental friendly business units. Risk management, which is identifying and mitigating environmental and social risks that could impact supply chain integrity. So risk management techniques which companies use. And beyond that, it is collaboration. Supply chain partners, the partner with stakeholders to enhance sustainability practices throughout the supply chain management. It is not only a manufacturing unit has to bother about the pollution. It is the logistical loss and the distribution channel. This channel of distribution should also be bothered about environmental business. So your collaborating partners in the supply chain network should be perfect. When we talk about engaging stakeholders, which would enhance sustainability through transparent communication and strategic partnership. So your communication, your partners. See, when we talk about supply chain management, it is creating a network where you communicate about what is the consumer. The backward integration would be what exactly the consumer require. That has to reach the manufacturer. From the manufacturer, it has to reach the supplier. And a transparent system of doing business. That is what is required. So communicate, when we talk about collaboration, it has to be communicate sustainability goals and progress to consumers, employees and investors for informed decision making and trust building. So not that one participant in the supply chain management, he thinks of sustainable business. It is all, whoever is collaborating has to be bothered about sustainability. And the transparency, communicate your sustainability goals and progress to customers as the same thing, employees, investors, such that you are doing a transparent business. When we talk about the innovation culture, focus on innovation and research and development, developing sustainable products and enhancing operational efficiency through innovation and R&D. Ma'am was giving about the suggestions about certain models of green products or eco-friendly products. Sustainable products are the need of the hour. Consumers are also thinking of sustainable products, eco-friendly products. So investing in research to create eco-friendly products and services, which leads to market differentiation and supports environmental conservation. So to a certain extent, we are supposed to produce 100% eco-friendly product, where the manufacturer concentrates about sourcing good quality, highly or managing the wastages properly, which would end up into a sustainable business. And the process improvement should also be. So continuous efforts to enhance operational processes which drive cost savings, resource efficiency, and reduce environmental impact. The process improvement should also be a concern when we think about sustainable innovation culture. And corporate social sustainability culture. These are different strategies at different level. Be it as management, be it as marketing, be it as a supply chain. At every level, how the strategies are to be formulated. So at corporate sustainability culture, developing a strong corporate culture. It is with key elements for a sustainable culture integration, where there should be leadership commitment. Top management dedication to sustainability sets a tone and example for the entire organization. It is the entire organization, the works are based on the top management. So leadership commitment, employee engagement, motivating employees to actively participate in sustainable initiatives, fosters a culture of collective. Probably when the top management formulates a vision and mission based on the objectives, the policies, rules, regulations, everything will be impacting sustainability. So the employees are also fostering into that culture. And next is environmental emphasis. Focus on environmental activism, which showcases a successful model for engaging both employees and customers in sustainability efforts. So environmental emphasis is also required when we talk about corporate cultural sustainability culture. Then coming back to key strategies, key strategies for tracking sustainability progress. So normally when we implement the entire gamut of management starts with planning, the sourcing of all the other resources, having a control mechanism, a coordinated form of activities, and at every level there should be evaluation. So how are we doing? What is the progress of sustainability in the organization? Of course, this is not only about eco-friendly, it is in general companies who go and for tracking their progress. So here, when we talk about, companies are supposed to measure and report performances by utilizing a KPI effectively. That is, implementing key performance indicators to measure sustainable goals. For example, reduction in carbon footprint. So how the company's pollution or how the company's manufacturing process, how the product would reduce carbon footprints, or the machines which the company uses, the oil which the company is going to use, the technology which the company is going to use, how it is able to reduce carbon footprint. Next is regular reporting. Publish sustainability reports detailing achievements and improvement areas, such as annual sustainability overview, an overview of what is happening, how the company sets or checks the key performance indicators. It should also report at regular intervals, what is the process, how is the process. CRI for standardized reporting. See, for example, Coca-Cola sustainability assessments. It does sustainable assessment. It checks its regularly. Its standards are checked. And that's what company says. And enhance transparency. As the company is sending its transparency in operations, all the all these, as a company shows the balance sheet or its progress or its financial progress, it should also see ensure sustainability in the market. Coming back to expanding market research, when we talk about the marketing process, market research with sustainable products, meeting consumer demand through through a sustainable initiative. Consumer preferences, understanding what consumer requires, what is a consumer's inclination, and towards sustainable and ethical goods. See, of course, there is liquor which is sold, there is tobacco which is sold in the market, probably by government does it, but in spite of that, ethical business units are monitored. So what exactly the consumer requires, it has to be standards are supposed to be set, certifications are supposed to be done, and adapting to a regulatory changes. So earlier was marketing, market requirements, which all we all know. As we are consumers, we require what we exactly expect certain features from a product. And if we are into entrepreneurship, we need to deliver what we expect as consumers. And navigating environmental regulations and policy advocacy for sustainable business practices, compliance with regulations, environmental regulations. So informed of environmental regulations, compliance standards are to be set, which the government should ensure at regular intervals it is inspected and verified or checked, where resources are not depleted. Adopting sustainable business practices, every policy discussion that is happening at the global level or at the national level should emphasize on sustainable business practices. And global business environment. Talking about global business environment. So earlier we were discussing about the strategies which companies can or which global entrepreneurship or which companies which are involved in global marketing or global business would seek on. But when we talk about global business environment, which is following a pestle analysis, so which we call it as political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental areas. So when we talk about economical environment, it emphasizes on market opportunities. Which market you can take your product, where your business is safe, where you can acquire, where you can compete, where you can show your competitive advantage. Next is currency fluctuation. Each day change in the political environment or any other form of risk that is happening in the market, happening in the world, it is affecting global fluctuations, global currency fluctuations. So based on the global currency fluctuations, companies are supposed to think of their economic situations. Access to capital. Now, earlier it was national business models, national investments, or investment from your own country or from your own pocket. But now, accessing to capital from any part of the world. Globalization has ensured or is helping business units to go and for international investments. Companies which are or countries which are developed, which are so-called or when they want to invest, they are finding out new business opportunities, and when they are ready to invest, they will seek the companies which are good to invest. So access to capital is when we seek investments. Political environment, we need not talk much about political environment because it is the government which is controlling the regulatory system. The political ideology of a particular party which is ruling or which is opposing will set trade policies, will is creating trade policies and political stability in an environment or in a country would ensure the better business opportunities, wider business opportunities. Next is the environment, social environment, which talks about cultural differences. Probably a country like India, where there are so many states, even in a particular state, there are the different cultures followed, different religions, different rituals, different customs, different communities, different, everything is different. So amidst all these differences, in the countries, even I do domestic business, I can understand what exactly people being from Tamil Nadu, I can understand what people from Kerala would expect, what people from Karnataka will expect. But I will definitely not know what people of Middle East, Northeastern states require. And when it is international business, entirely different language, entirely different culture, the system of thinking, the way of approach, everything would be different. And demographical trends. countries which are with aging population and countries which are with youth population. There, the culture differs, the social requirement, the social structure also differs, emphasizing on social responsibility at every level. See, a country with aged population, where the social responsibility will be more on health. A country with younger generation, the social responsibility will be more on education system. So that is how social environment is. And a company, when it wants to, or a manufacturer or a company or a corporate, when it wants to enter into another soil, it has to analyze all these attributes of a different country, provided it concentrates on its own home country requirements. And technological factors, innovation, research and development. We all discussed about innovation and research and development, focusing on sustainable practices. Digital transformation, the era of social media, e-commerce, which is flooding every business, or which is there in every business. So digital transformation is also changing the technological arena. And global connectivity. So I right sitting here, I'm talking to people of different states. That is, and I sitting here, I can draft email, and that email reaches the other person in seconds, in nanoseconds. Probably the connectivity of the globe is helping. Technological advancement is helping in global connectivity too. So technological factors. When I want to sell a product in Japan, Japan is far ahead of technology. When I want to take a product to China, China, they are they are good in tech manufacturing products which are cheaper. It doesn't mean that the quality is good. The country as a whole is capable of manufacturing product with a longevity, the longevity of the product is small, which means I will manufacture a product, you use it for 2 years, the next third year, I'm replacing you another product. You sell the existing product which I manufactured 2 years back. So reusability, renewable, reusability is what we learn from China. Though we say that the Chinese products are not good, the technological factor, China is meant for manufacturing. They are able to manufacture the product at a better price. That is the main reason, because the technology is sound. And see, this point, I think people may have contradictory opinion on China manufacturing cheaper products, or China meant for dumping the product into the other country. For an economy to prosper, there should be enhanced production and there should be enhanced consumption. When we talk about enhanced production, the company's GDP will increase. So we are ready to manufacture once in 2 years. We ourselves is shrinking the product life cycle. The country as a whole thinks of shrinking the product life. See, why you make my product obsolete? We ourselves make our product for use only for 2 years. Remaining just throw it and trash, we are ready to replace another product because we are strong in innovation, we are good in technology, we are able to go and for further research, and we are ready to replace the product with added value. That is what a lesson China is teaching the entire world on the basis of technology. I am not favoring China, but when we talk about technological factors, this is one reason. And environmental, this have been the area of which the entire sustainable goals are. So sustainability trends, what is happening in the market, climatic changes, of course, it is a bigger threat to the entire globe. Not only to India, not only to America, to all the countries in the world, climatic changes are happening. And that is because of pollution. That is because of carbon emission or the burning of fossil fuels, whatever. So that has to be restricted. And resource management, I've been telling proper positive supply chain network is supply chain management is where a company can maximum utilize its resources with minimum wastage. So manage your resources, be it is your labor, be it is your capital. You need to manage your resources where depletion is not happening. And the next is the legal environment. which talks about intellectual property. Intellectual property protection. Intellectual property protection is something where companies say, I go on for probably we all say nano is a failure card, but nano would sustain. Nano is has given a challenge to the entire world. No company in the world can manufacture a product or manufacture a car worth 1 lakh rupees for the next so many years. So they are protecting their rights. The implication, see how far this is associated with sustainability is they have a market leader, they have a competitive edge or competitive advantage on retaining their intellectual property. So they stand as a threat for other companies to manufacture such a product. And employment opportunities and contract enforcement. So when we talk about legal, the agreements which between the country of port of origin, port of destination, between the consignor and consignee, between the importer or the exporter, when it is international business. Earlier it was only buyer and seller market, but now it is not a buyer or seller, it is consignor or consignee, or importer or exporter, consumer from different parts of the world. And now, I'm just in the ending of the entrepreneurship journey, or the impact of entrepreneurship is opportunity identification. So, global business environment, as we discussed, all these pestle areas, pestle, the social, economical, political changes that's happening around the world. Global business environment provides entrepreneurs with opportunities to tap into new markets, leverage technological advancements, and meet evolving consumer needs. See, I am from an underdeveloped, I am from an, probably being an Indian, I'm from a developing market. I can concentrate more on developed market. I can get the technology. I can acquire a wonderful business opportunity if I am pretty rich. But if my market, if my business, if my entire return on investment has to be safe, I have to find out a market which is underdeveloped, where my product quality would be accepted, because profit is always SP minus CP. So my cost of production, if I concentrate on a developed market, what should be my cost of production? And pertaining to the competitor's selling price, where am I parking my selling price? And what amount of profit and what amount of profitability will my company acquire? That is one question which companies have to think on. Finding out opportunity. Don't ever focus only on the developed market, where you're going to get good profit, or where the financial structure, financial system is good. But find out a market where your product can be sold. Maybe at the initial stage of global business, you can you can go on for a break even, and break even is possible from a similar country. Next, risk management. Entrepreneurs face various risks, which includes economic fluctuation, political instability, regulatory changes. When the political system is changing, the regulatory legal requirements in the country will also change. The effective risk management strategies are essential for navigating these challenges and ensuring business stability. If you want to have a stable business, you will have to face all the challenges. And innovation and adaptation. The dynamic nature of a global business environment drives entrepreneurs to innovate and adapt their strategies. Success often depends on the ability to respond to changes and capitalize on emerging trends. What is happening in the market? We did discuss about the emerging trends in the market. What is happening? The change in the minds of customers. The customers are moving towards eco-friendly product, or the so-called organic industry is pitching up in the market. So innovation and adaptation to the changing environment, because I'm not going to concentrate the customer who is in my next doorstep. I'm going to concentrate on a customer who is in another continent, somewhere different, somewhere very, very far from my place of operations. So I have to adapt to that environment. All the changing environments have to be adapted. And the last thing is strategic decision making. So understanding global business environment understanding the global business environment informs strategic decision making, including market entry strategies, investment choices, and operational adjustments. So, which includes market entry. How do you penetrate into a market, a newer market, or if it is a developed market, how should be my quality? How am I competing? What is the competitive advantage which I have over the other competitors? So that is the first thing. And the next is investment choice. Do I have money? Will I be able to sustain for a longer period in the market where I can? And next is operational adjustments. Your culture, your structure of organization operations differ when your business is international. And the future of business, future outlook is increased integration of AI and data analytics. That's how the global business units are moving towards. Expansion of circular economy models. As I told you, use renewable resources, which can be reused, recycle. Enhanced focus on social sustainability. It is not only sustainability of business, it is social sustainability. Global collaboration, technological advancement when we talk about technological changes. And last one is resilience to climatic change. I think I've done justice to the topic. And any questions? Any questions? Thank you for the opportunity. If there is no questions, we can wind up, I guess.
If you have any question, please go ahead. Ma'am is here to answer. Anyone, any question? You can ask now, or you can even contact later also if you have any question. But it was very elaborative discussion. Thank you, Dr. Reena, for very enlightening session on global business strategies for sustainable entrepreneurship.
Thank you, sir.
Your
Thank you.
expertise in integrating interdisciplinary approaches has given us valuable insights into the complexities of navigating global business environment while promoting sustainability. As we conclude today's session, I want to express my sincere thanks to both of our esteemed speakers today for your valuable contribution. Your knowledge and dedication to these important topics have enriched our understanding and equipped us with new strategies to apply in our respective fields. To all participants, thank you once again for your continued engagement and active participation. This FDP would not be a success it is without your involvement. I also extend my gratitude to our organizing committee members, patrons, and coordinators who have worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure the smooth execution of the event. Your efforts are greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another day of learning and collaboration. Have a great evening. The attendance link and the feedback link is available in the chat box. Please use that. It is for the certificate purpose also. Thank you very much, everyone.